Hello and welcome to Blighty Day Fiancé UK, Married at First Blight. My name is Michelle.
My name is Robin.
We are an international reality TV recapping, singing, dancing married couple.
I don't sing or dance.
I can do enough for the both of us.
Okay.
I can't dance either, to be fair.
We met before we were married.
We sure did.
Yeah, we're not qualified. Should we stop? We are qualified because as soon as we got married, basically we had our wedding, we got rid of the family, we went straight to a hotel, we locked the door, we put a do not disturb sign on the door, we got under the covers and
watched season 8 or series 8 of Married at First Sight Australia.
Yeah, we binged it. That's how we spent our honeymoon.
Yeah, and I have no regrets because we honeymooned in England. We got engaged in February of 2020.
And then COVID, right?
And then COVID hit.
I would have married you at first sight. It's just that we had to cancel about 12 weddings. Anyway, enough about us.
Well, a little bit about us.
Okay.
So Robin was a music critic and a journalist and a TV producer here in the UK.
Yeah.
He's interviewed his fair share of celebs, musicians, legends of all kinds.
I'm on Elton John's shit list.
Yep, we can. If you want to hear that story, head on over to our coverage of 90 Day Fiancé UK. I went to film school. Here in the UK. I've been here for about 15 odd years. I spent some time working in public relations, and my greatest credential of all is that I have been watching shit like this on my television since I was 8 years old.
Brilliant.
No word of a lie.
To be fair, the kid we share with someone else, he has also been raised on reality TV because it's all we watch in this house, and he has to sit there and watch it with us. We might get him on to give some opinions. Who knows?
Yeah, it depends on how family friendly these couples turn out to be. Because...
they all seem very wholesome.
So the way that we are going to cover this, because the show is on 4 nights a week for the next several weeks, it comes to about 30 episodes.
Yeah, it's about 7,000 hours of television.
It's quite a lot. It's a big commitment. We are going to do 2 episodes this week. So the one that you're listening to now, and then we'll cover the rest of the weddings, or at least the ones that happen this week.
Yeah, batch 1.
And then after that, we are going to do a weekly recap of the 4 episodes. And this is not going to be a beat for beat kind of, and then we go here and then we go there. It's not going to be a Paul style recap. Of course, Paul being the expert known for explaining things in excruciating detail.
Excruciatingly obvious detail.
Yes,
Yep.
He's taken it upon himself to narrate it as though it were for the visually impaired.
Right.
So we're not going to do that. We're going to do a recap of the couples and kind of where they are, and we'll do some analysis and share our thoughts on how they're doing, basically.
Yeah, we'll get some interviews with broken wine glasses, that kind of thing, the real inside scoop.
Yeah, we didn't do our homework, and the review and the premiere caught us off guard. So we're not as well prepared as we were for the other show that we're recapping right now.
Oh yeah, we've completely fucked this up.
Yeah, we really have.
Yeah, honestly, it's not our fault. It's Channel 4's fault. They had a bunch of stuff like about 4 weeks ago where they kind of did this soft like media launch and introduced like some of the cast, and then absolutely nothing. And then it was just on TV. So we're not responsible.
No, we aren't. We're also not going to recap where everyone is from the prior season because if you don't know, you should watch it. But I do have a lot of hope in my heart because I think part of what they want to see in this show is couples actually succeeding and in staying together and building futures together.
Well, they got 2 wins last year.
They did, yes.
How many out of what we've seen so far? Well, we don't know who's with who.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Except
but
for
I
a
think
couple.
we might have one already.
Yeah, although sometimes people who start off strong at the beginning, it's not always an indication. As we know with editing, there's a ton of misdirection. But without further ado, I'm not going to get into, next time we do this, we'll go through the different cast members, and maybe we can even do that exercise where that they do on Maps Australia, where you have to rank me against all the other brides, and then I have to rank you against all the other grooms.
Jesus, I'm going to rank you against other podcasters.
Well, don't do that.
Okay.
It's a bunch of men, isn't it?
Nah, not the ones I listen to.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I might need to know more about that.
All right. Shall we do the thing that we're here to do?
Yes.
Good.
So let's start with Chinita, 29, who is a social worker. She is matched with Jordan, also 29, who is an account manager.
Overall vibes, positive. Looking good.
Yes, they have very good chemistry. I cried during their wedding at several points. I was very touched by the fact that when he got choked up during his speech, she came up and gave him a reassuring hug.
Yeah, it was Waterworks City, wasn't it? There wasn't a dry eye, probably in any of the houses watching the show. The mum speech was really good as well. That was incredibly emotional in a very husky voice, which may or may not be a medical thing. So no shade. But man, that is a spirited woman. You gotta love her. But all of it was just beautiful.
It really was.
Right?
Except the dress. I hated that dress on her.
I think moths have got to it.
Hated it.
Yeah. Don't mix the see-through lacy stuff with the sheer stuff, right?
Or,
not the side.
Wear what you want, but it just, we're dancing around it, and we're not going to say because it's mean, but it didn't make the most of her lovely figure, is what I would say.
Gorgeous, but it looked like a swimsuit with a long bit at the bottom.
It did, yeah. It was unfortunate. Maybe they'll get another chance. Here's hoping.
Should we clown on his tie? A little bit. Let's balance this up. I kept wanting to jump into the TV and straighten that fucker. It was all off to the side and a bit orange.
Don't say what I think you're going to say, please. Just rise above it. Okay?
All right.
The bridesmaid dresses were also hideous. I'm sorry, because they, again, are all lovely women. It looks like she's got some wonderful people surrounding her. Why she put them in seafoam green satin bags with sort of a taco pouch emphasizer across the middle is...
But that's what you do at a wedding, right? The whole idea is to humiliate the people you love the most. Isn't it? Really? That's what bridesmaids are for.
I don't know. I mean, I let everyone wear what they wanted to.
Yeah, but you're nice.
Look, that wasn't great. There was sort of a vaguely transphobic joke about big balls.
Yeah.
Wasn't a huge fan of that.
That's all right. I don't think he meant anything by it.
Well, intent is irrelevant, isn't it? He should have known better, and Channel 4 should have known better. I imagine they're going to get some complaints about that, particularly since we have not one, but 2 queer couples on the show, which is very exciting. Hopefully, we can get into them a little later in the week.
Do you think, while we're talking about them, do you think they get to choose whether they go to like the hen and the stag and whether they hang out with the guys or the girls in an ongoing sense?
I've always wondered about that.
Or do they get assigned? It's like, you're going with the women, you're going with the men. I
don't know, because I don't want to think about it in the narrow terms that that are sort of apparent already, like that they put the very butch
Butch and a femme,
lesbian, with the men. I don't feel great about that. I'm trying to think. I think last year Daniel was with the women, and
Matt
was with the lads.
Yeah.
At the time. So it's interesting because we do meet a couple of people. Some of them we got their names, others we didn't, which I thought was kind of odd. But the hen and stag parties kind of always go the same way. It's sort of the if you think about like cobras sussing each other out. I'm, of course, sadly, once again, the viper's nest is at the hen party.
All the men are like, love you, bro. It's all really chummy.
They all seem to get along.
The women are like, I quite like her. I won't fuck her husband, but she's a bit of a bitch and I definitely will.
I think it's more that they're sort of like circling each other, and it's more that they're taking chunks out of each other. But there's some, I don't know. I don't think there are going to be many female friendships formed in the course of this experiment, as they like to call it. Yes, Mel is back. Back again, which is wonderful. She loves to just jump in here.
With
now and
very
then.
little.
It's funny because I feel like she stands out a lot more in the Australian version. I don't know, and I don't mean in terms of her outfits, because they
always horrific.
Are always terrible. Oh, Mel. And then we have Charlene Douglas, who is the intimacy expert, I believe. Now, look, it's very hard to look past the fact that she's not Alessandra.
Right. Who could be? Alana?
Yeah. We love Alessandra Rompola, who is the intimacy expert on MAFS AU. It's
she's like the Caramac bunny, like in human form. She might be the physical manifestation of sexiness.
Yeah, she is gorgeous. The camera loves her, and her voice is mesmerizing. She sort of purrs. But she also...
I like it when she tells people off.
Oh, I love it when she tells people off.
What does that say
about me? No, I'm the same. And my king is John Aiken.
Right.
And no one can hold a candle to him, in my estimation, when it comes to... Now, they're called experts. I always think of them as judges. Because the one thing that you and I absolutely love about this show that kind of stands out from the rest is that they are actually held to account. You're not just watching these people misbehave and carry on with their skullduggery. They are actually made to answer for their crimes.
Right. It's the reason why I watch MAFS and I don't watch an awful lot of other stuff. Because I love the accountability. It's great.
And sometimes that accountability involves Paul's over articulation of whatever it is he's trying to describe.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to him saying, so you did this, and then you did this, and then you did this, and then this. And literally just saying the thing. Like a child. You know when children write stories and they go, and then the cat did a pee-poo on the floor, and then the tree fell down, and then that's Paul. I can't wait.
That's way too linear for Paul. I think I seem to remember him saying it was a dinner party scene, and he said, now, what happens in the dinner party is that the couples are given a chance to sit down with each other and share about their past experiences in the last week while consuming alcohol and food.
which is known collectively as dinner. That's the third meal of the day. Honestly, can't wait for him to do that.
It's going to be a lot.
Yeah.
So without much further ado, I don't know do we want to do a breeze through of the cast as described, kind of like in the channel? I think it's worth having a quick kind of browse through.
Yeah. Well, we were looking at Chinita and Jordan, weren't we?
Yes.
And are we going to go back to that? Do we have any other thoughts? Let's maybe sort of wrap on them. Like I say, this is a quickie, and we'll do a lot more at the end of the week for you guys. But I think we can all agree that was a lovely wedding. They seem like really she in particular seems like a saint of a woman.
Yes. Well, we know she must be because she's a dog person.
Yeah.
She has a sweet little dog.
Yeah. And he seems all right. I was a bit worried at first that he was going to be a bit Love Island, a bit lad, which is, look, nothing against people like that, but they make really tedious television.
For us. For the rest of the nation, that's exactly what they want to see.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I respect that. Yeah. Their wedding could not have been in starker contrast to the wedding of Whitney, 31, who's a personal assistant from St. Albans, and Duka.
Oh, you got it right.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know why? Because it's not that hard.
And because it was it's his name and maybe it's important to get it right.
Exactly. Yeah. He is 31.
And if you weren't sure, you could have checked. Yeah.
He is an HR coordinator from Birmingham. He is originally from Yugoslavia. He emigrated to the UK at age 10, obviously to escape the conflict. He's the only child. We don't learn that about him until kind of midway through the episode. I noted that his mother was not in attendance at the wedding. His father was, and we love him because he reminds us of the dad on Let's Flats.
Totally does. Just the sweetest, loveliest, most respectful man. And the look on his face as he could see disrespect. All right, the word respect is horribly misused, particularly on reality TV, right? It's like, you don't really disrespect me. No, I'm not disrespecting you. I'm observing the fact that you're an asshole. That's not disrespect. But his dad is the real epitome of what respect actually is, right? And when he saw the opposite of that, just the disappointment, the quiet, stoic sadness in his eyes was quite a thing.
Yeah. And yet he didn't put it on someone else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was very gracious about the whole thing, whereas...
But what blew us away was Duka.
Yes.
Right? Because he sort of came to her defense, and he is a better man than I.
Really, true empathy is putting yourself in the position of someone whose behavior you either don't agree with or don't fully understand. I remember him saying, what it must feel like, or what must it feel like to have defensiveness, to have walls up like that, and what must it take to kind of bring that down. He was very patient and very unfazed with it all.
But he will regret it.
Well, yeah.
Do you remember on the last season of Maths Australia, who was the little chap in the spangly jackets? Like the proto-Jabri. Oh. Do you remember? And he was horribly, his wife had the affair. What was his name?
Oh, I don't remember. He was Italian, so I want to call him Carmine or something.
Fine,
but
we'll call him Carmine. It really was. He was on the show for a long time. You ought to remember. I'm terrible at names. You will learn that about me. But he was sort of the same. Do you remember? It was Caroline. Was that her name?
Carolina. Yeah.
But he defended her in the same kind of way for
He did.
quite some
Yeah.
time. And I remember thinking then, wow, that is, and Brent was the same, wasn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, these very gracious men who, in the face of these really awful behaviors, are kind and generous and give it some space. And it's like, wow, dude, patience of a saint.
Right. And I think if you've come here wanting to listen to people bash Whitney for 20 minutes straight, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that couple. I don't want to be that podcast. I think her behavior speaks for itself. She was acting the whole time like someone was forcing her to do this. She was
like a 6-year-old who was told they weren't getting any sweets.
Yeah.
And was sort of like at a formal sort of party and was sort of pulling a party dress off and just sort of wanted to run around the room waving her pants in the air and causing trouble.
Yep. She was extremely disrespectful. She was rolling her eyes. If she wasn't rolling her eyes, they were kind of closed like one of those dolls.
She was rolling her entire face. I'm not sure. I didn't know it was possible for a face to express discontent quite that much.
She was, I mean, I'm not capable of that level of empathy. And particularly if somebody was acting that way around my parents.
Yeah.
For instance,
yeah,
I would have a lot of trouble being gracious and patient towards someone like that.
I always wonder, and we have the same thing again. It's a mass Australian thing. Is it Bex?
Beck. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember her enabling friends?
Yeah. I mean, but for those of you who either didn't watch it or don't remember, Beck was paired with, I think Luke was maybe his name. He was, I think, a football player. He was some kind of ex-professional athlete who had since founded a mental health charity.
Yeah.
He could not have been nicer, and he was far and away the best looking guy on the whole franchise. And she just decided immediately that she hated him.
Yeah.
And accused him of kind of drooling over her and suffocating her. And again, I understand. The other thing that really stood out about Whitney was she kept saying, and I don't know why this disturbed me so much, but she kept saying, I want someone who's towering over me.
Yeah,
like
scary.
I want a brick shithouse just towering over me, about to swallow me up. And it's like, what? I don't understand. I mean, this guy is 6'2".
Yeah.
And he's
quite slight.
Pretty good nick.
He's in good nick. But that is quite voguish at the moment, isn't it? We've sort of gone back to the 80s in like the idea of what, desirable male physiques are. Right?
Yeah,
it's quite odd, actually, and it is a phase, honestly. Like, ladies, you'll get together with those men, and then when they get really fat in about 5 years' time, you will regret it.
I don't know what she wanted to get out of this outside of the fact that I cannot. Can you imagine having her as your assistant? Working with her in any capacity?
I can't imagine interacting with her in any way.
No.
Whatsoever. She'd reduce me to tears. I'm not afraid to admit it. Like, I couldn't deal. She will come out of any conflict with me the winner, I'm sure, and we'll feel great about things, but I just couldn't cope.
Yeah, I don't deal well with people like that. And it you know what? It might be that she's in the anger stage of grief. But again, I
feel like she was like that before. I don't, honestly, we've all been through some things, and like her story is particularly horrific.
Yeah, it's very sad.
No question. But I think that level of nastiness is in you already.
Yeah,
I don't think it can be made. I just don't.
No, and I'm really sick of that excuse on reality TV, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
And look, I know that we consume this stuff, that we watch it, that we enjoy it, but I am getting year on year increasingly uncomfortable with casting people who have very recently experienced a traumatic life event, whether that's a miscarriage, whether that's the loss of a parent, a sibling, a friend. These are all huge, huge losses and huge traumas that you don't bounce back from by marrying a total stranger or parading your issues on TV for all to see. I don't think I don't
No.
think anyone who comes into this process in a state of grief comes out of it feeling materially any better. I think you have to be made of some pretty strong stuff. And again, the reason I don't want to pile on to Whitney is because I don't want to reward that behavior, and I also don't want to talk about her. She really put me off.
What I will say, and then we'll move on. What I will say is, I already know. I'm sure it's already started happening. But the defensive, haters gonna hate. They're just jealous of me thing. I know she'll use the word fake about other people. I know she'll use the phrase two-faced about other people. All of these little linguistic habits which people have fallen onto recently are vapid and empty and meaningless, right? Haters hate you because you're hateful, not because they're jealous. I couldn't have less jealousy for her. I couldn't stand to be her. It would just be horrible. When people say they don't like you, that isn't being fake. And you certainly then don't get to call them two-faced for being honest. But I know all of that is going to happen. And when it does, I'll call it. But I know she's going to be that person. And I'm sort of dreading it, but I'm more interested in seeing what it does to others.
Interestingly enough, she doesn't seem to have a huge profile on social media. I was fully expecting her to have a whole army of Instagram followers.
Yeah, I think it's a new account that's been very carefully stage managed, probably by professionals.
Yeah. Well, seeing as how there wasn't a single negative comment. Yeah, that's usually a dead giveaway.
Yeah. So yeah, all right, she'll get her 15 minutes of fame, but honestly, that 15 minutes is going to be a pretty rotten bunch of fame. Again, another example from Maths Australia. That the idea that this kind of exposure will give you a career and stuff. Bryce. Forgive my name thing. Bryce completely lost his career thinking that this would give him like all the profile that he wanted, right?
Yeah, it didn't work out so well.
They
are the only couple who are still together from that season, though.
They have nothing else but each other.
And they're twins, Levi and Tate. No comment on those names.
No.
Because they're terrible.
Unless you have kids called Levi and Tate, in which case, beautiful names, well done.
No, because it's like levitate.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, did that just hit you?
Oh, man.
It's beyond the pale.
Oh.
It's not good.
Oh.
I would put that beneath any of the baby names this year that are going to come out of House of Dragon.
Oh, God.
Shall we go through the rest of the cast really quickly?
Yeah, let's mop up some of the vomit.
Okay, so Adrian was the missing groom, I believe. He's a blonde gentleman, age 37, digital designer from Manchester. We didn't get to meet him, so we won't talk about him.
Is he the other half of the gay couple?
I assume so.
Is he the one with the blonde hair? And I've never dated someone with blonde hair before.
Yeah, maybe.
That's my attempt at the sort of Scouse accent.
No, I get it. We'll get to him in a minute. Yeah. We've got George, age 40, financial advisor from Worcester. He's the one
with 97 children.
With 4 children. Yeah. He's the one who I think I was the most attracted to, kind of at the off. He's very much my type.
He could go either way. What was the name of the cricket playing fella who had a successful relationship?
Oh, Short King.
Short King, yeah.
With the redheaded wife.
Yeah.
I don't remember
Sorry,
his name.
guys. Well, again, this came on us very quickly. We will do our homework. But sometimes you get these kind of besuited, fairly respectable men, and they just turn out to be absolute darlings. And sometimes they turn out to be fascist scumbags. So honestly,
Sometimes
no way of knowing.
they don't. Yeah. We also have, so we've talked about Jordan. We also have Kwame, 42, business consultant from London. Now he is the Afro-Caribbean gentleman with the beard and an earring. Very handsome.
Very handsome.
We were not introduced to him. He apparently won Mr. Ghana in 2000.
Oh.
And now he wants another chance at finding love. So he is divorced. And he does have children. Okay. So, I love a divorced dad.
Yeah. Feeling a bit threatened.
Everyone.
I didn't win Mr. Anything.
No, but you should know I have a thing for divorced dads. I'm always going to be, favoring them. It's a bias that I am proud of and I stand behind. We also met PJ, age 31.
I called it.
Yes, you did. Yep. And I was really angry about that because I was telling you off for stereotyping him. His job says dancer performer here, but it means stripper. And he is also based in Birmingham. He has a lot of love to give. Apparently, he's got a lot of something else to give. I believe he described his penis as having open doors. If you can open a door with your penis, I'm pretty sure whoever's matched with him is going to have a lot on their hands.
It depends how far you are from the door, to be fair. And is it if it's a pull door, and you can open the door with your penis, that is a mean trick. If it's a sliding door, that is impressive muscle control.
Well, look.
A push door? How about a revolving door like you get in hotel lobbies?
Wow.
That
in
could
any
be
event,
painful.
I think it does. I think it takes a huge amount of confidence, a huge amount of stamina, and a huge amount of discipline to work in that field. And the older you get, the harder it is.
Right? I ain't shaming him.
Not talking about penises. No.
I'm not shaming him at all. Again, another reference. There was a stripper on another season, wasn't there?
Yes, there was.
Who was shamed for the job, even though he built up quite a successful kind of little empire from it.
And he wasn't presently doing it, but that is how he built his business empire.
Yeah.
And considerable wealth because of it. So PJ is concerned that he'll be judged based on his profession. So
not by me.
Not by me either. Except to say respect and wow. And he has revealed that he does give the full Monty, as it were. At
the end.
At the end.
So I'm assuming in the 30th episode of this, we get to see his dick.
Here's hoping. Moving on to Richie, age 51. So in the sort of deeper end of the age spectrum, he is a sales advisor from Sheffield.
Richie, to me, looks like, in cartoons when people die and their ghost sort of levitates above their body. He's like the cartoon ghost of Johnny Marr from The Smiths. Just levitating above him, looking down, going, I'm dead now.
He is pale and he does have a big head. He has worked in the music industry for 23 years and considers himself to be deep, emotional, clever, a good laugh, and socially/emotionally intelligent.
Good.
Yeah. He says, never underestimate a man who's got nothing to lose. That is a huge red flag for me. That worries me. To me, that says,
It's a line from a Liam Neeson movie or something, isn't it?
it's
Is he going to go on a killing spree?
to me, something like that is announcing to the world that you have a lot of debt.
Oh, right.
So I don't know. Look, Richie, we'll give you a chance. Now, Thomas is 31. As you say, Scouser, mental health care assistant.
I'm sure we're going to be... Look, the job he does suggests to me that there is some loveliness in there, right? I'm sure we're going to be surprised and he's going to turn out to be all right, because at first sight, and this is Married at First Sight, so we're allowed to make quick judgments, he's awful. He's just awful.
He seems a bit shallow.
Yeah.
And a bit superficial.
And very controlling, as they say in the Australian version. Confronting. If you don't live life the way he wants you to, much scorn will come your way.
I think he reminds me of a cartoon version of Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Oh.
And I know that's a really mean comparison, but if you're going to have veneers that do not fit your mouth, and if you're going to dye your hair and your eyebrows jet black, you're going to invite certain comparisons. So,
well, look, I'm sure we're going to see an awful lot more of him. Who else we got today?
We've got April, age 32, who's a dress designer from London. Now, she is unsurprisingly a former Miss Great Britain.
Oh.
She is very, very stunningly beautiful.
And she can make dresses.
Yes.
If only I knew someone who was learning how to do that.
Well,
hey, we haven't seen the dress yet. Might be awful.
Yeah, that's true. She won't stop until she succeeds in anything she does and considers herself to be a positive and bubbly social butterfly.
I hate the word bubbly.
I hate it too. If any of you are failed actors like I am, you, particularly if you're a woman, you will have heard the phrase "be more bubbly" more times than you care to admit.
Cheer up, love, might never happen.
It's one of those. It's one of those directions that means absolutely nothing and gives absolutely nothing. So
right.
Keep that in mind. Then we have Jenna, age 32, who is a zero waste shop owner from Blackpool. I hated her immediately because she looks an awful lot like someone we know, but I'm not going to. I'm going to try really hard to pull back from that.
Oh, no, I think random prejudices for no reason are excellent and should be should be encouraged in shows like this.
Well, I think what really bothered me was that she really turned her nose up. And I'm going to side with the gay Scouse gentleman who I previously referred to, whose name I've already forgotten. Thomas. I'm going to side with Thomas on this one. Jenna turns her nose up at father walking the daughter down the aisle. She doesn't like the tradition of marriage. She thinks that it's an antiquated institution, etc. She compares it to livestock. All of these quite unfavorable comparisons. And I think Thomas quite rightly says, well, we, being LGBTQIA++, have fought very hard to enjoy the same traditions that everyone else has. So why shouldn't we just enjoy them if that's what we want? I want my father to walk me down the aisle because he's proud of me.
Right.
And that really spoke to me. So that's several points in Thomas's favor. Yeah, there.
I think honestly, we'll see a different side to him. He came over really badly in this episode.
And I hate to say it, but I fear that it was by design because production saw him coming and thought, we know what to do with this.
Yeah. So what's her name? Jenna, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Those are just, some people are so desperate to have an opinion that they'll choose they'll choose an opinion and they'll be really, really bolshy with it and everything. And it's just so that they can be something, because actually underneath there isn't anything at all.
Calling oneself a badass bitch, etc., etc. That is not the serve she thinks it is. That's not the bold opening gambit she thinks it is. It's basically her personality is contrary.
Yeah, right. It's second only to I'm a strong, independent woman.
Yeah,
Find a new cliche to define yourself by.
Oh, she's defined herself by all of them.
Yeah.
Vegan, queer, doesn't want a traditional marriage. I'm sure there are many more that she can't wait to lecture people on.
Individually, all of those things are great.
No, I'm just saying.
It's just when you collect them and wear them like sort of badges on your jacket.
Yeah, your whole personality can't be like, I am the counterculture and this is what... And you know what? And you can push back and say, oh, well, she's just proud of who she is. Like, that's great, but she chooses what she shares about herself, right? Yeah. All of these people do.
And if you're proud of who you are, you probably shouldn't shame others for being who they are.
Precisely. Thank you. That's the point that I was trying to make, but taking forever to do.
There was famously a song by a band called The Levelers in, I think, the early 90s. And The Levelers were what was called at the time a crusty band. So they had they were white guys with dreadlocks and dogs on a string.
Ooh.
And right, you remember that whole, maybe you're vaguely familiar with?
Spin Doctors?
Yeah. There'd be violins in there for no good reason. Actually, one of them was called Jeremy. Tells you everything you need to know. So they pretended to be really counterculture, but actually they had quite rich parents and were, for what it's worth, lovely, lovely people. But they had a famous song called One Way, I think it was that. There's only one way of life, and that's your own, right? That was the chorus, right? And you'd see them play at a festival or something, and there would be 30,000 people who all looked identical with the same dreadlocks and army jackets and dogs on strings and can of cider in the hands, all singing this same line. I'd be like, there's only one way of life and you're all following it, aren't you? So this idea of being highly individualistic by defining yourself by a counterculture, and we look, you see that so much in music circles. You saw it a few years later with Manic Street Preachers fans. It's the same thing, it's like a guy. When I first started writing as a music critic, one of my colleagues came up to me and was like, why don't you wear eyeliner?
You look great in eyeliner.
Oh, sure, but he didn't mean it like that. He was like, why are you not in uniform?
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, well, because it's just going to be me, if that's all right. But yeah, you get that with such types, don't you, that there is more authority and more rules than actually in norm society.
That's right. And lest you all think I have any room to talk, I am one of those women who, growing up, particularly in my 20s, less so in my 30s, but particularly in my 20s, I took on the personality and aesthetic of whoever I was dating at the time. So I went through a faux hawk phase with safety pins in my ears, wearing little kilts and knee socks. I went through an emo phase. I went through a goth phase, just about, that paints you a picture. It took me a long time to figure out who I was, so I understand that.
You haven't taken on any of me.
No, I haven't.
Because you are your own woman now. Right, who else we got?
We have got Jess, 31. She's a dental hygienist from Cambridgeshire. I feel like I could have told you she was a dental hygienist.
Yeah, I called stripper for PJ. You called dental hygienist for Jess, didn't you?
Yeah, God bless her. Now, look, where that comes from is famously on the American dating series, the long and storied series, The Bachelor. When it's a boy bachelor, there tend to be quite a few Laurens or Ashleys. They're all dental hygienists.
Okay.
I don't know how they managed to get so many dental hygienists in one room, but
Well, that's why they're on
are.
these shows, because their daily life involves people's stinky breath, and they're desperate to do anything else for a few months.
You know what? I liked her because she immediately stood up for herself.
What, Jess?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like, believe it or not, people sleep with people on first dates. That's sort of what a lot of apps are about.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
The,
There was
the
a lot
idea
of,
that you have to save yourself, just fuck off.
yeah, it was silly. There was a lot of snobbery pointed her way, and she was having absolutely none of it. And I really appreciated it because I think I just agree with her completely.
Who are we left with?
Cassia or Kasia, age 36, you would not have missed her chest because it was on full display.
Oh, that's the one who put a dress on upside down. Okay.
Oh, bless her. She left school at 16 to have her first child, and has since launched a successful career. She owns a body contouring clinic. And with her children older now, she's hoping to focus on herself and meet someone. So I imagine that she'll be matched with someone else who has children. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll see.
We didn't get a whole lot out of her. I was honestly, that dress was so ill-fitting. And that's not me shaming her body at all. I think she has an incredible body, curves to die for. But you don't have to put them under bandages necessarily and just expose the top half.
Yeah, it's very weird when you're in a room full of people you don't know, but fine.
Sure. We also have Lara, age 49, who is a waitress from Nottingham. I almost said actress instead of waitress. She's actually a former dancer. Now I thought I couldn't place her accent. She is originally from Canada. She's been married and divorced twice. And she says the experts couldn't pick any worse than I could pick.
Fair. Oh, just you wait and see.
I have a lot of respect for her. Again, probably for all the wrong reasons. I feel for a woman who's putting herself out there for a third time on TV for all to see.
Yeah.
And she is north of the age.
I'm always more interested with ones who've got a bit of experience and stuff.
Oh, me too.
It's always much more interesting.
But to be able to hold her own among the harpies and screeching hyenas,
squabbling teenagers,
I think, yeah. I really like her a lot. And then last but not least, we've talked about Whitney. We have Zoe, age 30, who is a quantity surveyor from the West Midlands.
Who seems all right.
We learned a bit about her. We learned that she's the only gay in her village, basically.
Did she say Stafford? But that's not the West Midlands,
I thought she said Stafford too, but
Yeah,
I might
it
have
must have been.
misunderstood.
Because there's plenty of gays in Stafford.
Yeah. Now, we do know by the process of elimination that she is going to be matched with Jenna.
Oh, we're really good at calling it. It always feels so unfair, doesn't it?
I know.
But presumably the judges, matchmakers, experts, whatever we're going to call them, had many, 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 many gay people to choose from and have in advance done their deliberation. So it's fine.
I'm hoping that they were careful in this regard because Matt and Daniel captured the hearts of the nation, ourselves included. They were my favorite couple by a country mile.
Oh, yeah.
Or a country kilometer. That's about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's whistle stop. Thank you ever so much for our phenomenal lack of preparedness. Once again, thanks ever so much, Channel 4. But we're all going to sit together with our hands held in a circle and learn all about these people together, aren't we? We're going to watch them fighting it dinner parties. We're going to watch them giving snarky looks in commitment ceremonies. It's all very exciting.
Yes. And just so you know, we don't have any loyalties to anybody. Our opinions change on a whim.
Yeah.
I am ashamed to admit that there was a time, probably a whole 48 hours, when I liked Olivia from season 9 of Married at First Sight Australia.
Yeah.
So anything can change at any time. Come at us. Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah.
We are at Blighty Day, BLIGHTYDAY on Instagram and Twitter. You can also email us at blightydayfiance@gmail.com. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, let us. I was thinking, do we do a new email address for Mass? And then I thought, nah.
But we're going to keep our sign-off consistent.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is in honor of our sweet summer child, who we'll call Alfie, even though that's not his real name.
He's going to be on this show one day.
He is going to be on the show.
All right. See you soon.
See you soon.